So we start to look at a cornerstone, something that can sustain the whole weight of the building. As you continue to go along through life, you're going to run and have different instances of situations that's going to come up and arise. So what's going to be very important is your footing and your foundation. Even when they built those towers, one thing they looked at, they built those buildings to sway. Did you know that? They built them where they could be able to impact some type of hit or some kind of structural damage from a high-end hit, from a high-end impact. One thing they designed not to move was the foundation. When you get a foundation, you can get a house, you can move it, but you want to keep the foundation. The foundation is the whole thing that keeps it going. That's the whole stability of whatever you're doing. And that's what we always want to set back to consider. Listen.
I have laid the foundation.
I have laid the foundation.
And another buildeth thereon.
What happens, son?
But let every man take heed.
How he doth what?
Buildeth thereupon.
What happens, son?
For other foundation can no man lay.
Than?
That is laid.
Which is who?
Jesus Christ.
That's our stability. That's our strong point. That's what you need to consider. Come on.
Now, if any man build upon this foundation.
Now, if any man build upon this foundation.
Gold. Silver. Precious stones.
What happens, son?
Wood.
What else, son?
Hay. Stubble. Every man's work shall be made manifest.
So now you got to begin to look at it. Now, what's going to make manifest? Light. He said, whatsoever make manifest is light. Where you can actually see where you're at and how strong you are is when situations begin to come. A lot of times people put things in certain places because of look, because of glamour, because of prestige, or because of influence. Now, when you begin to be tried, when you start to look at when you build it in God, you're going to stand to lose something. That's just a factor. You're going to lose something. Give me the 12th chapter of the book of Exodus. Let me just talk with y'all briefly and get out of the way. I love the Lord. Got to love him. Everybody. I think what happened with a lot of people started to build on the sand. It's good as long as no wind don't come. It's good as long as the water don't, as they say, the creek don't rise. But when trouble and persecution come because of the word, by and by they are offended. Isn't that right? By and by you'll start to lose some layers. You'll start to find yourself sinking, or you'll begin to find yourself moving. Listen to the book.
Exodus 12:1.
Pick me up at 12 and make it about 29. Exodus 12:29.
Amen.
Listen.
And it came to pass.
What happened, son?
That at midnight.
What was that, son?
The Lord smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt.
Yes.
From the firstborn of Pharaoh.
To the who?
That sat on his throne unto the firstborn of the captive that was in the dungeon.
Yes.
And all the firstborn of cattle.
Mm-hmm.
And Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants and all the Egyptians.
Yes, sir.
And there was a great cry in Egypt.
Come on, son.
For there was not a house where there was not one dead.
Y'all hear that? Every man work going to be tried by fire to see what sort it's of. Wasn't a house in Egypt, then somebody wasn't dead now. What happened, son?
And he called for Moses and Aaron by night.
What happened?
And said, rise up and get you forth from among my people.
Why, son?
Both ye and the children of Israel.
Yes.
And go, serve the Lord, as ye have said.
Come on, son.
Also take your flocks and your herds, as ye have said, and be gone. And bless me also.
Come on, son.
And the Egyptians were urgent upon the people.
What that was, son?
That they might send them out of the land in haste. For they said, we be all dead men.
Now, when you start to serve God, you got to consider it's a move you're going to have to wind up making. On top of that move, you're going to wind up leaving something. These people had community. They had lives. They had friends. They had neighbors. But when you start to take on and name the name of the Most High God, you got to understand you're going to lose something. When he told you every man going to work, going to be tried by fire. When these people, by the time they had gotten to this point, there had already been other signs and already wonders that had been worked and been performed for them. And during that period of time before this, they were able to still stay. Every one of us are tried at different points and different levels. And some of us will stay longer than we need to. But then God got a way, they said, mighty sweet. It ain't sweet at the first when you look at why you having to be moved or transfer, but God got a way of moving you to get you to where you got to go. Mm-hmm. Amazingly, no doubt, had God appeared to them and told them to come, they wouldn't have left. Amazingly, for every one of you to be here tonight, it took something. It took a building up point. But with that building up point, you needed a foundation. Isn't that right? You need the foundation. Because when you talking about start leaving something, and that's where you're being, and that's where you know, and you're comfortable, I don't care what the situation is, it takes something to move you. Y'all know that? It takes something to move us. A lot of us, when God calls, people don't respond quick. The call of God is not a quick response from people. That's why I had to tell them, the day you hear my voice, and not to harden your heart. Isn't that right? It takes something to move you when you're talking about serving God. But in doing that, it allows you to begin to really see where you're at. A lot of us, our whole stability point with God is the things we have. Either our marriage, our children, our finance, our education, or even us. These are things sometimes that hinder us. Everybody got something that's there. You got to be tested and tried on to see whether or not you're actually building according as a wise master builder. And Paul said, I've laid the foundation. When it comes down to the plan of salvation, if you don't have it, just like I said in the book, you're not on the foundation. Now, when you come along and say you're going to build on that foundation, he's telling you, you better be real careful what you put down. Because make no mistake, you're going to be tried. When you start to be tried in your health, when you start to be tried in your marriage, you start to be tried with your children, when you even start to be tried with yourself, if you ain't on a good foundation, you're going to wind up moving. Isn't that right? See, this is the thing we consider. It's real easy to serve God when you're comfortable. It's real easy to pray when things are not really affecting you. It's real easy to do a lot of things when you're comfortable. But when you get put in a situation that's outside of your norm, then we begin to see what you're actually made of. Now we can actually see what you really stand on. Isn't that right? When all these other things start to move and start to change and other dynamics begin to come and start to operate inside your lifestyle, now you got to go back to look at what you're really standing on. What are you really building on? Even it came down to the apostles when Yeshua moved. When I say he moved, he was taken away. When situations change, it's real easy to serve when you write down. When he was right there, they did no fasting. When he was right there, they didn't even know how to pray. They had asked him, how do you pray? He let them know a lot of things at that point when they were doing it. Even they went out, they told them to go out and send them 2 by 2. And they came back rejoicing. They said because the devils was subject unto them. He told them, don't rejoice in that. He said, I held them back. That wasn't you, I held them back. Isn't that right? A lot of things you do because God is actually working so much for you, you don't really have a foundation. You're not really having a platform to stand on. But when he was taken away, it started to show exactly where you're standing at. This is how we run into the situation in the 24th chapter of the book of Luke. Verse 25. Pick me up, son. 24-25. I'm going to get ready to get y'all out of here. But I want y'all to consider, I know you're tired, and I'm tired too, but you still got to be saved. Tired, broke, ugly, and nasty, you still got to be saved. At the end of the day, you got to be saved, folks. You know, the truth is, Minister Boss would tell me, we were sitting in the office talking, he was telling me how a former preacher that was him, and he went on his Facebook page and saw a video when he preached just last year, talking about how people that won him last year, and now it was another year, and your mind got to be gone and not to know what you believe or whatever it was. God showed you up. All it took was God to touch your finance. Everybody, I'm telling you, every one of us, it's just the right situation to come. Right situation to come and show where you love and where your heart at. A lot of y'all think y'all all right. You ain't all right. That's why the word comes. This is where you can examine yourself. You can really see whether or not you really can stand the test of time. That's why he told them in the 7th chapter of the book of Matthew, about verse 20, about where you need to build. A wise builder, he gonna dig down, he gonna build upon a rock. So when the storm come and the wind fall, that house ain't going to fall because it got a good foundation. But the fool going to build on the sand. It's quicker, it's easier, it seems more efficient. You know, right? It's more conducive to what you want to do, building on the sand. It just makes sense until something happens. When something happens, you find out it's a bad decision. People that build houses on the sides of mountains, it's a good decision until mudslide comes. A lot of things, if you think about it, is really not bad. Land's cheap. You're already up high. You ain't got to worry about a flood. But you dummy, you do know rain comes down before it goes back up. And this is something people don't consider. When you start talking about actually serving God, folks, this is why he told us in the 14th chapter of the book of Luke, count up the cost to see where you have sufficient to finish. This is what kills us. A lot of us can't push past situations. We're so limited We're so limited in as far as I go, as far as I go. You don't even push past to see what you can do. And a lot of times it's already an easy fall that'll stop for you because you've been doing things so long at a mediocre state to where you plateau out easy. When it comes down to serving God, higher heights, deeper depths, especially when you're talking about building, because you know when you set, the devil know where you at as well. He going to come, he going to try you. When these things come for you still got to have stability. Listen to the book.
Then he said unto them, O fools and slow of heart to believe
all
that the prophets have spoken.
Ought not who?
Christ, who have suffered these things.
And to do what?
Enter into his glory.
Why would he tell them about this? Oh, fools, stupid, slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have spoken. Huh? Hold what you got. Ephesians 2 and 20. Ephesians 2 and 20. Listen to the book.
And are built upon the foundation.
Oh, and are built upon the foundation. Tell me about the foundation, Andre.
Of the apostles and prophets.
Wow. That's why he called them stupid. You always got to go back to revert on what you're standing on. Where's your strength? You know what they'll tell you when you're building a house? If you build it and you got a basement and you live in a tornado area, what are they usually going to tell you to go? Hurricane. You know why? That should be the strongest point. That puts you right on the foundation. They never tell you to run upstairs. That's not the strong point. The higher you go, the easier it is for you to fall. You know how you know that? Isaiah asked Lucifer, how you falling? You had exalted your kingdom up there. Because the higher you get, the easier it is for you to fall, especially when you ain't got a foundation. But you got something to revert back to. That's the difference. A lot of times, that's why every time something happens, you get scarred and you stop and you never get over because you don't have a foundation. When you got a foundation, you can build again. You know what people miss? Jerusalem was destroyed. How many times? Uninhabited. Became a wilderness, a desolate place. But you know what they was able to come back to do? They was able to build again. See, when you got a good foundation, you can come back. A lot of times what happened with the average you don't have a foundation. So as soon as something happens, you easily knocked down. Anything that overcome and take the average you're going to quit. You're going to stop. Because you hadn't been through nothing. You hadn't really sat down and put your foundation. This is why he was on them, calling them stupid. And you start to believe all that the prophets. Remember the foundation. Ought not Christ to have suffered these things and to enter into his glory? And beginning at
Moses
and all the
prophets.
And that's where your foundation at. He expounded on them in all the what?
Scriptures.
Let's go back over the foundation. The things
concerning himself.
Everybody that stood on God's word, God delivered. Every promise that God gave, God verified it. This is what you got to look at, folks. The average you, some of you, you're hype, you're good for a time, if music going, if something kind of push or move you or motivate you, but you ain't really got a foundation. You just got emotion. As he told Israel, my heart desire, pray to God for Israel, they might be saved. You can have a zeal, but it can be not according to knowledge. Listen, you can get yourself in a form of repetition and still complete and get absolutely nothing done. Repetition. It's not always good. That's how they came up with a religion called Methodists. Or we'll break it down and call it method. They had a method for what they did and what they were doing. Now, have they accomplished anything? So repetition ain't always good. Every Sunday, same prayer, same hymn books, same style, same form of worship, and they've accomplished nothing. So you want to make sure you understand, even religion. That's why Jane came to tell you about pure religion. It can be a difference, folks. This is why you should have told them you worship. The woman at the well, what's she wrong? She talked about the fathers. She talked about how Jacob built the wells. All that's right, but you can be worshiping incorrect because you got to go back to look at your foundation. And it shows when situations happen. When certain people moved out of your life. I seen people, wives leave, a husband, whatever they just like the apostle. Turn around and leave. That's everything you had anyway. You really had nothing. I seen children die. I can't make it. I don't know. Because that's all you got. Where's your foundation? Where's your foundation? It upon these people, you got to go back and build it on the word. That's our source of standing. That's our increase. These jobs, people, and everything else we got, this stuff is temporary, people. We look at the things that are eternal. A saint got a better hope. A saint looking for a better end. No matter what comes on me, eventually it's got to work out. Maybe not the way I want to see it, but it's got to work out. When I look and consider, Paul told me here, when I built, making sure I'm on that same foundation because there's not another one, so don't even play with this. Stay with what you got. Don't go to try to investigate to see about another one. You can't lay another one. This is the foundation. This is where you got to build. Don't say there's some other property that looks similar to, that's close, and you can go and get it and get a better deal. This is the foundation. This is why God would not let Israel inhabit another place. He let them know when they went through. Don't even think about it. That's not your rest. You have a different foundation. Jerusalem been through a whole lot of destruction, whole lot of mishaps and fires. But what we still got to go back to? You're going to have to go back to the landmark. This is what our Lord taught us. Remove not the what? That's where you build that. You're going to have to build deep and put it on a rock. This is what the average you don't actually sit down to consider. Y'all dread too many things move you. Too many things sway you. You got to get a foundation. You got to get a foundation. I got problems, situations, and everything will come on. I always encountered at this point. Ain't none of that got to do nothing with serving God. Amen. At the end of the day, I got a better hope. I got a foundation, people. None of this stuff going to move me. Paul said, I am persuaded that nothing shall separate me from the love of God. Haven't you persuaded as well? You should be. Because ain't nothing moved you closer. Ain't no use of moving. If something came to move you away, it would actually move you closer. You know that's bad. That's bad. If something did come to move you, you couldn't go nowhere but closer. You already far as you can get away from God. You got to get yourself planted, people. This is your soul salvation. Listen, people don't consider what it takes and really examine yourself. Let me just show you something. 2 Chronicles 25:1. I know I caught some stuff. Let me get through and get out of the way. I would like to be able to do that, but it don't permit that for me. It don't permit that for me. 2 Chronicles 25:1. Time don't work for me like that. I can help y'all if y'all let me. I can help you. We're looking for an increase. See, the reason why I went back to the 12th chapter of the book of Exodus is because of the fact that it took something to get them to a point of leaving. Even if it takes somebody to put you out. Some of us look like we take it more to hard hurt if I got fired rather than I was able to put my resignation in, find me another job and leave that way. You can't look at it that way. When God say move, you got to move. I was a person like that. I was. Let me tell you something. I wanted, I desired something of my own so I wouldn't have to be on their clock, so I could control my time, so I could make more money, so I could be more valuable to the gospel, and I'll be able to put more in, and I'll be able to do more work. I was on my time. I want to do it my way. I had been looking for nothing. I figured when the right time happened, then I'll look. When time presented itself, it'll be conducive. I'll get it, then I'll leave. I saw one of the managers do something. I decided to call corporate and tell them. And when it came back down the chain, he found out I did it. They fired my black behind that day. They fired my black behind that day. And I couldn't believe it. I told somebody I knew. I said, listen. I said, man, you ain't going to believe. He said, well, I said, they fired me. He said, what? He said, they fired me. He said, what you going to do? I said, I don't know. I was hoping I'll be able to get on my feet and get a truck. He said, I got an extra truck. He said, you want to buy it? I didn't know what to answer. Buy a truck. Because I had been running my mouth about what I want to do. I hadn't actually had a plan. I didn't actually look at it actually happening. It's kind of them thing like you do, you just talk in conversation. The reason why I say that when it comes to being saved, most of y'all just talk in conversation. Because you get put down on the point. Truth be told, you can't even respond. What was I going to say? I ain't have a plan for a truck. I ran my mouth like people say when you work for a company what I was going to do, but I don't know nothing about a truck or how to get a truck or what you do for a truck. If somebody gave you a truck, I didn't know what to do with a truck. So I'm sitting here saying, a truck, what did it do? But it happened. I said, what is it? What do I got to give him? $50,000? What? I ain't got no money. He said, give me $1,000. I had $1,000. Got a truck the day I got fired. I came back that day to get my stuff. That man said, let me ask you a question. He said, I just fired you yesterday. How you get a truck today? I said, some kind of way I talked to somebody. He said, you already had this plan. I didn't, but God did. I left there bitter for the fact I looked at it was embarrassing for me that I had been fired when I was a good employee, when I didn't consider it ain't about how I left. It was a point God said it was time for you to move, son. See, no doubt with some of the Israelites, it's kind of embarrassing, Leon, when you get put out and these folks watching versus you were able to find you something else and then you was able to set yourself up and we know that you left on your own and nobody put you out. You got to get past that, Leon. Oh, we strike some nerve. See, you start to consider. Just like them, you think about this, people look around. Yeah, your God showed up. Your God showed out. Oh, we got 4 dead, but you're behind getting out of him. Now, you the talk of the town. That was the thing about them when they left. Everybody knew about you, Austin. Everywhere he went, folk talked about it. I know about you. Your God came in and rained in locusts. Your God brought in fire. Your God turned water to blood. Your God did a whole lot of stuff, but your behind got put out. You didn't get the lead. Sometimes that kind of mentality, mindset, it hurts us somewhere in our life. That was something I had to get over and realize, son, when God get ready to put you somewhere, it ain't always the way you think. This is what he tried to tell us in the 55th chapter of the book of Isaiah. Your thought ain't my thoughts. Your thoughts, if you had thought about it, who want to let them not listen? They cried for 430 years. Where did they try to go find somewhere else to go, though? What was the escape plan that we read up in 300 years? 150. Because you can become comfortable in a situation. So God allows another situation. Since you won't move, I got somebody to fire your black behind. And it finally got me to a point of getting over how I look and the people sitting around the jar saying, that nigga got fired. Preacher run his mouth, he gone versus. God said, son, it was time for you to go. Here you are sitting down looking at my God coming to live me. The night when you eat that, put your shoes on. The night when you eat that, make sure you got your belt on and make sure you got your staff in your hand. What in the world going this morning? You looking for knock on the door saying, you got to roll. I ain't know in the morning. You got kids. Hold on. My kids, they in school. I got to get my kids. I got to try. I got to try to find another place to go. I got to. That's a lot. That's a lot to be hit with at one time. Somebody knocking on your door curtain tonight. 9 in the morning. Y'all got to go now. All you get to leave with what's on your back. You were just going to cook your boy something so they can make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. What you need to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? Some bread. Do you know what happened, Curtis? You ain't even get to put no leaven in it. And he loved leaven. See, sometimes you got to get past the things you love and what you want to do and start to try to look at a bigger plan. See, I started to realize the thing when God worked, wait before you start mumbling, grumbling, complaining. It's something in it for you. I look at the end results of where it went for me. Me being fired. Me being embarrassed and let go and everybody talk. Here I'm gone. I don't even see these people. It hadn't never been bad. You know what was going on in my mind and for the first probably year or two? What them folks saying about me? Why am I worried about what them folks saying I'm gone? God done blessed. I'm doing better than I ever done. And I'm still worried about, though, the way that white man let me go and made me look. I just wished I could have left there differently. But I had made no moves, Miko. I hadn't put in nothing nowhere else. I was saying what I wanted to do, and the stuff I did, I wasn't really trying to get it anyway. I had a man one time, I tried to say, I'm gonna go with a union company. Roll, yellow freight. How many of y'all know yellow freight? I'm going with yellow freight. I put an application in. Another friend of mine, they put an application, they got hired. I said, man, when the world going? Man, they called me. So I decided to call that man one day, hit him. And he said, yeah. I said, I put a letter. I put an application. What's your name? Henry Smith. He looked down. I said, yeah. He said, you know why I ain't call you back? I said, no. He said, if you had wanted a job, you would have called me like they did. I was like, what kind of mess is that? He said, if you had wanted a job, you would have called me too. You know what I did? I filled out the application, sitting over there. I looked at it anyway. They kind of fall. You know, you set yourself up sometimes for stuff you really don't want. You just go, when it comes down to serving God, a lot of y'all do the same thing. He looked at, if that was something I really want, you'd have been calling me before now. And he's right. I looked at it like, I wanted to know die your need. I had a job. I wanted something different, but I worked from the perspective of I got something. So since I got something, it ain't a hard press on me. Some of you got a fake God and an idol God, so you ain't really trying to push to get to a God. So it take what you got to be taken from you. Now you realize I got to get a job. The fear I had of getting a truck for those that got them for the first, that's a lot of responsibility. It's paperwork, it's tag, it's stuff you got to do. Where you going to put on these folks till you go get these? Go, you say, this is a lot to put on. So sometimes you will stay with something that you don't like, but you're comfortable in it. Because it's the fear of what you got to do. Here they were sitting out here in the nighttime with your kids, with your family, and all you got is literally the shirts on your back. Literally your bowls, your unleavened bread. But then somebody got to loan you something. The book said they loaned it. You know how they look embarrassing. You know it did say in the book loan. Mike, you need some money. I'm going to give you a loan. That means he got to go out looking at, you're going to have to get that back. Not only he embarrassed, I just put him in his family, I put him out. Now he looking at, he got to get some hand-me-down stuff. He got to take on some stuff somebody got to be given to him. Versus if it was up to him, how he'd have left, he'd have rather had his own stuff. He'd rather had a house and stuff set up for his family where he could have went, looked at the school district, investigated, made sure everything been good, but he wanted to move. That's the problem with it. You don't move to everything to your comfort level. When you really start to get into God, you see the difference because you know what? You learn to do just like Paul. I learned whatever state I'm in because I know God's still working. If I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, whatever state I'm in, God working for me. The reason why a lot of you have so many problems and why you find yourself fallible versus infallible, incapable, but capable of failing in error is because you ain't fully trusting in God. Makes a difference. 2 Chronicles 25:1. Y'all all right?
Amen.
Does it relate home for anybody?
Amen.
Oh, man, it gets us. See, but the thing I started to learn to look at, embarrassment is something nobody wants. But embarrassment sometimes is what you need. Because then you can begin to go back to look at why you're embarrassed, why you hurt. And you can look at what related and got you to that point. You know what I'm saying? I look at a lot of hurts I got in life were from a lot of decisions that I made. And take God to allow you to make some decisions so when you fall and you get no hurt, you realize you probably want to just start looking at me from now on. You probably want to just start going with decisions I make. You might want to start investigating before you believe everything other folks say or start lusting. I've been guilty of it. We all have. I looked at other people and said, how they get that? How they get that? They ain't doing everything I do and they got it. God gave it to them because you don't know God. And it starts to be a hindrance for you over a course of time. It's a snare and it can cause you to stagger. You can stagger and grow looking at other people and wondering how other people and why other people and not looking at you and realize there's a different plan. There's a different plan for a person that's actually staying with what the man told them. If you look at Jesus to the point of crucifixion, it says this is the dumbest, about the most ignorant, most retarded fella I ever seen. Because I'm definitely ain't finna let nobody walk up and know you finna hit me in the back of my head. Da-da-da-da. Why? You sit here saying, who does this? You sit here and let somebody take your coat. You be like, I'm going to lay my coat down. I hope a nigga touch my coat when I come back. I wish a nigga just go there and look at it and want to know who coat it is. Because you're working from a different factor point. See, when your foundation is solid and you got what you got, he knew people. Having a foundation, having history, knowing the prophet, he knew people that lost stuff and regained. He knew. Look at Joseph. Joseph lost his coat. Who Joseph fought? Who Joseph killed? Joseph became the second high ruler in Egypt. He knew about people being defrauded. He knew Jacob. He knew about a man working and not getting what go to him, but in due time, God bless. This man knew about departing off from mother and father. What make a man sit up on the cross and tell their mother, behold your son. Son, behold your mother and go and leave it. He looked at a man like Abraham. I'm gone, Daddy. I'm gone. Because I'm serving God. The problem with a lot of you guys is you ain't serving God. That's why you got so many hindrances. That's why so many different ways move you. Y'all sit around, you ain't nothing but a pet zoo for the devil. I watch y'all come in sad, look stupid, hoping some miracle happen like some nigga Christian. God already moving. I ain't looking for no Lucky Charm box. I don't even eat no Cracker Jack. Ain't waiting on no prize. I did that joke when I was a kid. As soon as I get it, pop it open and dump them out trying to get the prize. When you know you got it, you just keep eating. You know, eventually, what for me, for me. Fool going to dump all the Cracker Jack out and grab the prize. You going to have to work to get to the prize. Isn't that right? That's what you start to learn, people. There's some in here, but when you don't get a good foundation, you ain't got no footing, you're going to be easily moved. That's why Paul told him, Galatians 1 and said, I marvel that you so soon remove him that call you into the grace of Christ unto another gospel. Which is not, I'm just going through, I don't know, so much yet going on, another gospel. Let me tell you, folks, it's impossible. You've been told offense going to come. You can't let that move you from serving God. When I took this on, I knew something was going to happen. You got to go back and look at the foundation. Here were some people that told God called, God speak with, and God had prepared them for something. It's only natural that people are going to come against them. It was only going natural. In order to gain something, you got to lose something. Even we talked about that, let's make a deal. Come on back up here, son. Give me a hand clap this talk show. Let's make a deal. Let's make a deal. Appreciate it. I like this guy. This is your first time on the show, ain't it? You're going to have to go. Now, come on. He says the 8th time. Curtain number 1, curtain number 2, curtain number 3, or this. Good choice. You're going to have to let something go to get this. If you're going to get that, you're going to have to let something go. If you're going to actually get saved and get with God, y'all going to let something go. You have to let something go. That's the problem people got. They had to give up living. Let me tell you why. In Philippians chapter 3, verse 15, he told them who God is there. Whose glory is there what? Who do mine what? So I got to change what you eat. Because bread is a major factor. Anybody obese, what they going to tell them? What they going to tell you you're going to lose? Cut the bread. You want to cut the cost. Bread going to be one of, they said, let me guess, you eat a lot of bread. While you talking, you got a done bread sandwich stuck in your mouth. And then why you as a fat person eat a lot of bread? Don't even ask that no more. But just saying, you got to take something out. Because you know what? It's your desire for it that has actually caused your situation. One thing you find with bread, with yeast. Yeast rise from what? Heat. Guess what you got in your stomach? So when you can ingest bread, the bread is still being cooked by the heat, and the yeast is still swelling. Got it? So this is why Paul told who God is there. Because you ain't got enough control to stop the see from yourself. You see the dysfunction. But yet you keep going, which means now this doesn't regulate, this does. So now he look at, I got to stop your appetite. Right? Whose glory is in there, Israel didn't even consider. They wound up becoming deplorable and despicable. God made them, when you read, hold on, 1 Kings 9:1 right quick. Y'all just give me a minute. I can help the whole nation out. Every race, creed, and color. They said, can you speak to some Indian people? I'll sit down and smoke wacky weed with them and preach it. I can talk to anybody. I can drink rice soup with Asians. F.U.B. I can take kimchi and throw that junk out the door. Still preaching. I eat taco with Mexican. Don't make me no different what the nationality is. Ain't that right? I just drink Smirnoff gin with Russians. Listen to the book.
And it came to pass,
what happened, son?
When Solomon had finished the building of the house of the Lord, and the king's house, and all Solomon's desire, which he was pleased to do, that the Lord appeared to Solomon the second time, as he had appeared unto him at Gibeon. And the Lord said unto him, I have heard thy prayer and thy supplication that thou hast made before me. I have hallowed this house which thou hast built.
Come on.
To put my name there forever.
Come on.
And mine eyes and mine heart shall be there perpetually.
Listen.
And if thou wilt walk before me, as David thy father walked,
what happens, son?
In integrity of heart and in uprightness, to do according to all that I have commanded thee.
What happens, son?
And will keep my statutes and my judgments.
Yeah.
Then I will establish the throne of thy kingdom upon Israel forever.
Listen.
As I promised to David thy father.
Come on.
Saying, there shall not fail thee a man upon the throne of Israel. But if ye shall at all turn from following me.
What happens, son?
Ye or your children.
Do you hear this? This is important for us. What were the king supposed to keep him? A copy of the law. Very important. Because God just made a threat. Not only I kill you, I kill your kids. You just made a threat to me. And I want to know, as anybody else would want to know, if you got a problem with me, keep my kids out your mouth. Right? You got a problem with you, what you want me to bring your son? You said, leave my kids out of it. But since you got a copy of the law, you do know I visit the iniquities of the father. Where about now? Upon the children. This is why it's important for you to know this. Listen what happened.
And will not keep my commandments and my statutes, which I have set before you.
Tell them what happened, son.
But go and serve other gods and worship them.
Become a Christian and worship them. Tell them what happened, son.
Then will I cut off Israel of the land which I have given them.
Did he lie? He didn't lie. Listen what else happened.
And this house, which I have hallowed for my name,
what happened, son?
Will I cast out of my sight.
Did he lie? Come on, son.
And Israel shall be a proverb.
What is a proverb? A saying. Tell them what else, son.
And a byword among all people.
African American, black, sub-Saharan, Nubian, colored, African American, and I can't forget your all-time favorite. You's a nigga. Did God lie? Guess what we do now with nigga? We make a rap about nigga. We make a movie about nigga. We walk around and say, Leon, my nigga. Did he lie? This is the way it come back to show you. Your glory is in your shame. It should be a shame to you. You ought to be ashamed of you. He's showing you every time. Look at us. We're the most obese people that got out here now. All are like sumo wrestlers. So he came to restrict the man. Even with cults, you know what cults do? They start cutting back on eating. Because the biggest way to get control of a mind is watching what you eat. In the garden, God made a covenant with Noah. Guess what he wound up having a conversation with him about, Boston? About what he eat. You see how these things begin to have a control factor? Because if you watch with people that are obese, that's when you join these groups. These groups talk to you, and they try to put a mindset on let's take some things out. Because all the control come back with the mind. Huh? You don't believe it? In 1 Peter chapter 4, and verse 1, for as much then as the Mashiach has suffered for us, where? What was he doing before he died? Who remember? Fasting. So arm yourself likewise with the same what? This is how you think, people. I would love to be the stupid person y'all would want me to be, but I can't be. That wouldn't make sense. You got to have a level of intelligence when you deal with God. There's a level of intelligence you got to have. Now, people might rate you as ironic and stupid, but God never does. People fail to get it because they don't actually see the plan. There's a control factor. God wants full control. God don't want partial. God needs full trust. Total confidence is the only way this can work. I wouldn't be there with my wife and my wife was going around if I found she was just checking through my phone, smelling my drawers. I just be honest with you, I'm not going to be comfortable there. That's me. Everybody different. I'm just not going to be comfortable there. Either you give me full control and trust, or I'd rather not be there. That's how God works. Because it's going to wind up being a problem. You're going to use that at your convenience. When I come and get on you and say something, oh, well, I don't trust you anyway, it's going to be a problem. Isn't that right? It's going to be a problem when I tell her to do something because you don't trust me anyway. So they come down to God. You got to first have some trust. And trust going to have, you got to have that for a person to say, just to let you enter into him. You know how many people have been raped and molested and I mean, not even physically, just mentally through psychologists, what they can do with your mind? They make a lot of money. People go to see them. You got a problem. You know what they get? You got to deal with the mind. This is what I try to get y'all to understand. For there's information that's got to be imputed in your mind. So we got to go back and do a thought process. We got to go back and do an examination. Start looking at what is it we need to look at first. Your childhood. Let's go back to look at how you got here. When we start to trace your childhood back, usually they're going to want to know, what was your relationship with your mother and your father? Well, this is what we do here. What is your relationship with your father? Jerusalem was called to be your mother. What is your relationship with your father and with Jerusalem? I mean, I don't even know it. Let's work from now. You see how this start to work now? Let's work about with your father. I mean, my mama told me some things about him, but I mean, I really don't know. And the truth be told, the average of you, that's where you're at. You really don't know your father. You've never even seen your mother. This is going to have a major impact on your actions and what's called your reactions. You got it? When actions happen, then reactions going to avail themselves. Right? And you go back and ask, why did I punch Leon? Why did you hit Leon? Because Leon had hit me. Now you got to wear it from the situation of, that's why you got hit, Leon. He punched you because you hit him. Now you look at why you're so self-destructive to yourself. The average of your suicidal behavior and mentality, you don't have to be physically suicidal. Most of you are spiritually suicidal. It's because you don't have a relationship. To be honest, you always look at, even when they come and get you and need rehab, you have to take something to supplement. You know why people take vitamins? Who know why? Supplement. That's what they used to call supplemental vitamins. People get an insurance. You have a Medicaid. You also have to get a supplemental policy that picks up what the first two policy or first policy does not cover. Huh? This is what God comes in and do to supplement. In 1 Corinthians chapter 6, 2 Corinthians chapter 6, we then, as workers together with him, beseech you that you receive not the grace of God. What was it again? For he said, I have heard thee in a time accepted, and in the day of salvation have I supplemented because you were short or lacking. That's what he did. He supplemented. Huh? That's what he did with Adam. When Adam seen everybody else had a mate, and he didn't have one, I supplemented. I told him I would make him something appropriate. When you go to get vitamins, sometimes people, you look at somebody and say, let me talk to you first. What you got going on? Because every vitamin on the shelf ain't good for everybody. What's your problem? I be cold all the time. Come over here with me. You need something with more iron. I mean, with me, I guess, I might use the bathroom like every 3 days. Come over here. You're going to need something with more greenness. We got to get your digestive system working. See, what started to happen, just like when they go with the book, a lot of people start jumping this book thinking they can fix their problem. But you need somebody, let me hear what you got and let me fix it from there. Just like Philip did when he ran up on the unit. Do you understand what you're reading? And he said, no, how can I say? Then I know what you need. But you start grabbing and getting stuff because you seen Brother Mike with it, then Leon had it, then Tart had it. It might not fit you. It might not fit you. Everybody got different situations in him. Same solution will fix everybody's problem, but we all got different situations. Let's look at this 2 Corinthians 25:1 right quick. 2 Corinthians 25:1 so I can get y'all out of here. 2 Chronicles 25:1. 2 Chronicles 25:1. Listen to the book.
Amaziah was 20 and 5 years old.
How old was he, brother? No, he was 5, then he turned 20. This is old English talk. That's retarded. And he was 25 years old. Listen.
When he began to reign.
They're the only people put the 10 in front of the 5. They teach you this, the 1 column, 10 column, 100 column. Then these idiots tell you he was 5 and 20. Ain't that what they teach you mathematics? Then they show you they're hypocrites. Why would you tell me he was 5 and 20 years old? You just put the 10 in front of the 1. Some of you folks, what do you do? Don't worry about it. This is what you do. You socially promote it. Listen.
And he reigned 29 years in Jerusalem.
He reigned 29 years in Jerusalem. Then he come back and tell you he reigned how many years?
29 years.
I don't know what to do with these people. Tell me this ain't just the most confusing folk you ever heard right. First the man 5 and 20 and he reigned 29 years. This'll mess me up. I don't know how a Christian ever gonna get nowhere. Listen.
And his mother's name was Jehoiadan
what happened,
of Jerusalem.
Uh-huh.
And he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord.
That's my members. He did that which was what?
Right in the sight of the Lord.
Is it right for y'all to be here for the Feast of Unleavened Bread? Is it right for y'all to keep the commandment, laws, and statutes and judgment? Is it right for y'all to acknowledge Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? Is it right that it's one God? Well, he did it too. It was right. Talk to me, son.
But not with a perfect heart.
This will hurt you. This will hurt you. That's why we got to go in and we got to do examination. A lot of times, that's what hurt us. A lot of times, what our hindrance for hurting us in certain reason, why your heart don't be right, a different reason. It could be family, it could be friends, it could be self, or it could be things. We'll just call them a noun. Be a person, place, a thing. Right? These are major reasons, in fact, that's why people are not here and people are not doing what they're supposed to do. So you can do what's right, but your heart got to be changed. Listen.
And it came to pass.
What happened, son?
When the kingdom was established,
what happened?
That he slew his servants that had killed the king his father.
Y'all hear what he did? He slew the servant that had killed the king his father. That's right, y'all. Was that right? That was right. Let's listen to what happened.
But he slew not their children.
Told you the man was right. He didn't slay their children. Tell him why he didn't slay their children. He didn't slay the children, Abraham. I'm sorry, Andre.
But did as it is written in the law in the book of Moses.
Don't that sound good? King. He got the kingdom established in Jerusalem, and he done killed the people that slew his father, but not their children, and he did that which was right. Sound like he got the book. That man got the whole total package. Listen.
Well, the Lord commanded, saying, the fathers shall not die for the children.
Look at that. He acknowledged that. Come on.
Neither shall the children die for the fathers.
Come on, son.
But every man shall die for his own sin.
Y'all hear that? Every man, you kill my father, I'll just kill you. Leave your kids out of it. Come on.
Moreover, Amaziah gathered Judah together.
What happened, son?
And made them captains over thousands.
And what else, son?
And captains over hundreds.
And what else?
According to the houses of their fathers.
What else happened?
Throughout all Judah and Benjamin.
Isn't that right? If you make captain, you got to take them out of each one of the tribes, right? According to their fathers, right? That's right, ain't it? Come on.
And he numbered them from 20 years old and above.
They should have been numbered at 13, 11. That's what happened. Why would we use 20? Because man give account for his soul, give ransom for his soul. Is this right? This right. Come on.
And found them 300,000 choice men.
What happened, son?
Able to go forth to war that could handle spear and shield.
Yes, sir.
He hired also 100,000 mighty men of valor.
You hear what he did? What else did he do?
He hired also 100,000 mighty men of valor.
Look at him. Come on, son.
Out of Israel for 100 talents of silver.
What happened, son?
But there came a man of God to him, saying,
this what'll get you. There come a man of God to him, saying, what did he tell him, son?
O king,
yeah,
let not the army of Israel go with thee.
Well, don't let that army of Israel go up with you. What happened?
For the Lord is not with Israel, with all the children of Ephraim.
You know what happened with us sometimes? If we feel like we right, everything we take with us will be right. Sometimes everybody ain't good to have with you. Sometimes you got to know how to have a divide. This is where you start to show yourself. See, God will get you in other areas. He do real good when it come down and when you slay the people that kill your father and don't say they kill children. That's right. You number the people, you number them for 20 years old and upward. That's right. All these things are right. Ain't nothing you can dispute on them. But now God find out. What happened, son?
But if thou wilt go.
But if you go now.
Do it.
Go ahead and do it.
Be strong for the battle.
You hear that? And you better go in there. You better go with everything you got. What happened, son?
God shall make thee fall before the enemy. For God has power to help and to
do what?
Down. And to cast down.
God got power to help you, and God got power to take you down. What else happened, son?
And Amaziah said.
And Amaziah said.
To the man of God.
And Amaziah said to the man of God, I'm so concerned about getting killed.
But what shall we do for the 100 talents which I have given to the army of Israel?
God will find your heart, baby. Mm-hmm. It don't take heart. He ain't said, but he wasn't worried about what's going to happen to them. He told him now, if you go up there, you're going to fall. God got power to make you fall. Now, God got power to help. What do you want to know about, Brother Allen? What I'm going to do about my money? That's what a lot of you do. This is what is separate between you and your God. Won't God find y'all, though? Got the law, do what the law say, numbering the folks at the right age, got your stuff together, you go hire some people, and you spend your money, and this is what God gets you at. I ain't finna lose no money. I know that's all good about God, but what I'm going to do about my money, though? A lot of y'all, that's what God put you to show you. This is your little demon. That's why God let you know. God told you he did what was right. It wouldn't have made no sense to read it to find out he wasn't doing right. This has been crazy. God just said a man did what was right. He told you his heart wasn't perfect. See, a lot of y'all do that. I keep the Sabbath. I keep the feast day. I do this. But then God touch on that wife. God touch on them kids. God touch on that money. Uh-oh. I try to tell y'all, God going to find your heart. God find your heart. A lot of y'all just so ignorant. It's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. Why do you think he put this in here for? What sort of things are written for time? What was it? That we through patience and comfort of the scripture might have what? Hope. I got hope. So when God come and try me and it get to be between doing what he told me to do and the money, what I already found out? That's my problem. That's my problem. God would have never tried him on go ahead and slay the man kids too. I ain't going to do that. That's wrong. God would never try him on, try to number them kids, try to get them the 19-year-old. He was like, ain't no way in the world. That don't even make common sense. God said 20 years old. 20 can give a ransom for their soul. But when you stick yourself out, then God said, let that go. What I'm going to do about the money? Just found your naked demon. That's why we're here. 27th chapter of the book of Acts of the Apostle right quick. Acts 27 by 22. I'm going to get ready and let y'all go. There's a conclusion to the matter. Because I had already said I wanted to preach. Let me say this first of all. I have not preached tonight. Let me clear this up. I'm merely elaborating on the sermon that was spoken on earlier that the man of God spoke. Preached. Because no rumors get out here. This is the 27th chapter of the book of Acts of the Apostle. Give me verse 20. Listen to the book.
And when neither sun nor stars in many days appeared, and no small tempest lay on us.
What happened, son?
All hope that we should be saved was then taken away.
What you going to do with that, Leon? You ain't seen no hope, no star after many days. At that point, boy, you ready to die. You ain't seen no star, nothing. After a while, listen, ain't but so much the human body can take. There's only so much the human mind can endure. You know that? That's why they got this thing they got when they lock people up, they make it illegal. It's called, it's torture. Because after so much, you can get a person to say or do anything. It's called putting a person under distress. Listen.
But after long abstinence,
listen.
Paul stood forth in the midst of them.
What happened, son?
And said,
what did he say?
Sirs,
ye
should have hearkened unto me.
You should have listened earlier. What happened, son?
And not have loosed from Crete.
And shouldn't have loosed from Crete.
And to have gained this harm and loss.
Because now since you went on and done it anyway, now it's going to cost you. Come on, son.
And now I exhort you to be of good cheer.
Now, EXHORT. I warn you. To be of good cheer. Come on.
For there shall be no loss of any man's life among you.
There shall be no loss of what?
Of any man's life among you.
Talk to me, son.
But of the ship.
And what else, son?
For there stood by me this night.
Who?
The angel of God.
What happened, son?
Whose I am.
He said, the angel of God appeared to me because I belong to him. He told you, I'm of thy fellow brother, the prophets. Whose I am, we brothers. Talk to me, son.
And whom I serve.
And whom I serve.
Saying, fear not, Paul.
Why?
Thou must be brought before Caesar.
You know, listen what you consider. When God appeared to Paul in the 9th chapter of the book of Acts of the Apostle, he told he going to bring him before kings, Gentile and the people of Israel. All they bear his name. Look at what all these different things you're going. This man said, I've been put in a situation where I was ready to give up. This is where a lot of you fail at. As soon as you start seeing things outside of your ability, the first thing you do is quit. Some of y'all don't even let it get to that point. You quit early. A chill hit, an extra chill bump, quit. Turn around, stop. Go to work and they forgot your check. Everybody get it at 12 o'clock. You got yours at 12:03. Quit. Give up on God. What kind of God let your check come in at 12:03 and everybody got theirs at 12 o'clock? You look for a reason to stop on God. But he said when all hope was gone, when it sat here and these people ready to give up, that's when Paul stood up and let these people know. Listen, ain't going to be no loss of life, but we're going to lose this ship. Huh? There appeared on me about a day or so ago an angel of God, of whom I am and who I serve. And this man told me this. Tell me what he said, Paul.
Saying, fear not, Paul.
Fear not, Paul.
Thou must be brought before Caesar.
Listen.
And lo, God hath given thee all them that sail with thee.
Listen.
Wherefore, sirs, be of good cheer.
Why?
For I believe God.
See that? I believe God. I try to tell y'all that. How many times I told y'all to start crying and give up? I believe God. What else, son?
That it shall be even as it was told me.
Didn't matter how it looked. Didn't matter how gloomy it got. Didn't matter how much that wind started beating and how much the rain was pouring down. He said, I believe God. It's just like he said. Everybody else on the ship was ready to quit and give up. Paul said, I believe it just like God said it. When everybody else was ready to stop and quit and give up, Paul was willing to stand up and let the folk know, just like Mo, be still and see the salvation of God. Talk to me, son.
Howbeit, we must be cast upon a certain island.
Listen, what? By accident?
We must be cast upon a certain island.
What happened, son?
But when the 14th night was come,
yeah,
as we were driven up and down in Adria,
yeah,
about midnight the shipmen deemed that they drew near to some country.
Listen.
And sounded and found it 20 fathoms.
Come on, son.
And when they had gone a little further,
what happened?
They sounded again.
And what happened?
And found it 15 fathoms.
Come on, son.
Then, fearing lest we should have fallen upon rocks,
what happened, son?
They cast 4 anchors out of the stern.
Listen, what happened? They did.
And wished for the day.
Man, you got to think about that. They just started slinging anchors out, trying to stop. They said, you know what? I heard what he said, but I don't believe God's going to do it the way he said it. Paul said, I believe it just like God said it. I don't care what comes. I believe it's going to be just like God said it. That's got to be your confidence. Listen.
And as the shipmen were about to flee out of the ship.
What happened, son?
When they had let down the boat into the sea.
What happened, son?
Under color, as though they would have cast anchors out of the foreship.
That let you know some niggas were on now. Everybody else throwing anchor. Let's get this anchor out of here, Leon, and drop that boat down. And here, an extra anchor. This is what we do. Under color, under pretense. A lot of times, truth be told, a lot of us have tried to make another way outside of what God told us because we don't see it. Man of God just stood up and told them. So I believe God. It's going to be just like God said it. You know what they looked at, Kim? We getting pretty close to that rock. We were 20 fathoms away. Now we don't win and we 15. In just a few more, man, we moving so fast, we going to stand right against that rock. We're not going to make it no island. Come on, son, tell me what happened.
Paul said to the centurion and to the soldiers.
What did he say, son?
Except these abide in the ship.
Tell them what, except these do what?
Abide in the ship.
What happened, son?
You cannot be saved.
Just like with Noah and them. You didn't think it got rough? 40 days it been raining. 40 nights. You don't think, nobody think maybe we ought to get off. Maybe this might not work out. You got to remember something. These folks were covering mountains. The water covered mountains. You got rocks up under this thing hidden. No doubt you seen some stuff. You looking thinking, this, I know what he said, but ain't nobody no fool. You know they say God ain't made nobody no fool now. This is our problem, the way of y'all synagogue. You try to under pretense, you try to see your own way. But he let them know, except you abide on the ship. Only way that makes sense to me, I got to look at Noah. The book said 8 souls were saved by water. 8 souls were saved by water. That water had to be pretty rough. You wiped out a whole world. That had to be some hard storm. There had to be a lot of rain pouring down. But you know what they did? They stayed on that ship. Only reason Paul would have had hope, he had to know Noah. He had to know Noah. Ain't no way in the world I'd stay on that ship. I don't care what you appear to tell me. I got to know the word. This is what I'm trying to tell you about the foundation. Noah. These are people that go back, matriarch that go back. This is part of our foundation. When everything starts blowing and getting hard and getting heavy on you, you got to go back and know your foundation. There are other men I can revert back to see God was with them. Now, why am I going to move? Listen what they did.
Then the soldiers cut off the ropes of the boat.
And did what?
And let her fall off.
You know what God will do? God will let a situation like that happen. Just like I was telling you to get rid of that extra little support you got in your life. Because as long as that boat right there, you know they already had in their mind. Anything break out, I'm getting off this ship. And as soon as they look, because you start seeing your own way. And had God just allowed it to be now, go ahead and put yourself in there and you get out there. If this big boat taking a damage, what you think that little bit of boat you get in going to do? But you know what happened? A whole lot of us, how much trouble have we gotten in because trying to see our own way? How much damage have we done to ourselves by not waiting and moving too fast? That's what God did. God said here to put them in a situation. Look, go ahead and throw it down. The man of God stop your hawking and say, listen, except you're about on this ship, you cannot be saved. Now when you cut the rope, where you going? Where you going now? You got to stand, ain't you? You're going to have to stand or die. That's what it meant. Then you tell that minister. Either you're going to have to go with her or you're going to have to die. Either you're going to have to go with it or you're going to have to die. But as long as you got some other little attributes you can hold on to and other little talents and skills you got just in case God don't work out, you ain't going to be saved. You're going to always keep lingering on and you ain't going to never fully commit because you know anything break out, stay there. We used to do them around the chair. Y'all remember that walk around them chairs? Huh? That you feel like me for start, how fast you finna go around? When you get around that back, you move fast. You get in that front, what you do? You drag it. At it's time to sit down, somebody getting sat on, pushed, elbowed. I'm getting me a chair. The mindset got to change, folks. That's what I'm trying to get y'all to say. Your mindset got to change that you finally start doing something you've never done. You got to trust God. Paul let them know they could be saved, but it's going to cost you something. We're going to lose this ship. For some people, that's my income, how I feed my family. For some people, I ain't going to have a job. Some people, I don't know what I'm going to do. I ain't never even thought about something happening to my career. But when it comes down to serving God, that's got to be your first and foremost confidence now. I can lose my job. I can lose my livelihood. But I can still be saved. This is what Paul is trying to tell about building that foundation. Some of us going to suffer loss. If you're going to really be saved, truth be told, every one of y'all, you're going to have to lose something. There's no way in the world you're going to keep it. The children of Israel had to leave their home. They had to lose something. Huh? They had to be shamed. Some of them were destroyed. Some of them were killed. Some of them died in battle. In the 20th chapter book of Deuteronomy, he told them, you approach to the battle this day. Why would he tell them any man had betrothed the wife to go take her? Why would he tell them that? Somebody going to die. Anybody just bought a house, go back unless you die in the battle. Any man done planted a vineyard and you hadn't ate of it, go back unless you die in the battle and somebody else eat it. I came to die when I came this way. The truth be told, y'all came for life, but life from God going to be death to you. It's got to be. I can't give you life and life. That's crazy. Why did I give you life and life? I'm going to give you life after you die. I'm going to give you life after you die, which means you're going to cost you something. To really serve God, it's going to cost you something. And it's going to cost you something you love. Amaziah got a great opportunity to be able to sit there to realize, I thought I was good, but when I was challenged and put in a situation, some of us would have lingered on, I can't believe. I ain't looking at that. I've been warned to God. I've been spared, and I got a chance to see where my hang up at. Only thing I'm worried about, Keita, I just wish God would have told me if I spent that money. That the part got me mad. I hate that, if anything, why he could have told me before I spent that money? You know why, Justin? Because I'd have never knew that was my problem. Whole lot of us in here, you wondering why God didn't tell you, why God didn't show you. Because if I had, you wouldn't believe me. But since you're out there, you see for yourself. That's your problem. That's good, brother. Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord. That's why we're here. So you can find out your problem. Once we find out our problem, then we know what to correct, right? Everyone. If it's a wife, we know what we got to do. If it's a husband, if it's kids, if it's self, if it's finance, if it's whatever it is, we can get it right now. But if you ain't shown, you ain't gonna be able to make no corrections. Somebody tell you, you ain't gonna believe it. I had a brother. He don't mind me saying, I won't say who, but I told him something one time. We had a great conversation. He told me, and he said, all I looked at was, I couldn't believe you said that. He said, I was so mad with you, I didn't really hear nothing that you said. I was so mad. He said, but later on, I got to see. You were exactly right. Until you can see a situation for what it is a lot of times, you'll never believe it. There's a lot of stuff God will tell you. You ain't going to believe it. Until you get put in that situation and you can see this is your problem. Fear was my problem. Self was my problem. I had a lot of problems. I had a lot of problems I didn't know I had until God showed them to me. I had a lot of problems with trusting myself. I trust God. I say I trust God, but I trusted me better. I trusted God as long as I was able to do. You know what I'm saying? Just in case. I always kept me a little ship. If it looked like we were finna hit rock bottom or something going to happen, I always kept me a little ship. And you know what God did? God took my ship. I'm being honest. A lot of us in here, I can help a lot of them here, but they ain't going to believe me, though. I can help y'all. You ain't going to believe me. Like I'm telling you, pride, I done had it all, man. To God strip you of something and get you over and let you realize a lot of your problem is you. It ain't other people. Man, you'll be holding stuff on people. People don't care nothing about what you're doing. They'll move on past. You be the only fool thinking, I know Joe know I hate him. Joe ain't thinking about my stupid behind. You'll be thinking yourself, you right, and that's just how you are. People don't care nothing about what you're doing. You'll sit around and you be victimizing your own self. Free yourselves. When y'all come in, y'all hear the word, free yourself. This for your soul. There's a lot of things out here you can do. There's a lot of things out here you can have. But you got to always account this as well. You ain't going to have God. You think Amaziah was going to have God if he went up to that battle? Not at all. But you know what he had? He hearkened to the man of God. He had to lose something. Everybody that got something, God had to lose something. So why you expect, your expectation is to gain God and keep everything you got. The regain will come in when you willing to submit and give it up. Y'all, a lot of us just like the young man, you didn't realize where the story come from, did it? What lack I yet? What he been keeping? All the commandments since his youth. Y'all didn't even catch that way Amaziah did it. You know what the problem was, Jesse? What I'm going to do about my money? Just like the young man was. Looked like just a parable he made up, huh? And the young man went away sorrowful. Why? Because he had a lot of possessions. You know how you can get a lot of possessions? Just don't have God. Ain't nothing wrong. God will give you that little trinket. He told you to follow good place to give you the kingdom. No good thing God will hold back from them that walk upright. Get in your mind if you're doing what you're supposed to do. Don't just put in your mind you follow like you're supposed to. Anything that's right for you, God going to give it to you. What is God going to do? If I don't get it, it couldn't have been mine. I used to always look at, I lost stuff. How I lost the stuff I ain't never get. Man, I ain't never get it. So how did you lose it? We get some bad minds on it, folks. Start thinking everything you lost and was taken from you, God took it from you from a reason. If it was good for you to have, God will let you have it. God will let you and take things away from you to see how you stand, whether you'll persevere and say, I ain't got no problem with coming and give you that in double. All I want somebody to stand. I want somebody to make sure whatever you got, that ain't your God. Whole lot of folks, some folks, kids run them crazy. You know why? It's a little God. You run behind and serve it and push and protect it. God said, go ahead and keep going. I'm going to keep you running behind it. Till you got to learn how to submit and realize, there ain't none of my God. Learn to appreciate and learn to stand on God's word and don't compromise for none of them. Y'all hear me? Wife, kinfolk, friend, all of a lot of y'all just get yourself in a disastrous situation. Because y'all keep going after stuff you know you ain't got no business with it. Why you keep going after it don't make sense? Thank the Lord. Just remember, just like the movie said, Father knows best. I ain't talking about that white fella off TV either. Put it up for me. So y'all don't be putting no money up there in that, where is it at? Oh, Toys moved. It look mighty pitiful. Especially my little money be the only one going up there. Thank the Lord. Wonderful Savior. Y'all all right? This ain't looking good. This man said this ain't looking good. We might have robbed a bank. We're going to need a ski mask. Thank the Lord. I'm ready to eat, too. Who are ready to eat? Not like that. You hear that, man? So y'all ain't ready to eat? Y'all don't want to eat? Thank the Lord. You can play a little music for them. They're going to play something for them. Oh, y'all like that. They can control you, ain't it? That way you ain't that little monster do what you want to do. He got to look back at that Jahi for permission now, don't he? Jahi said, we got that joke on control. What happened? The air conditioner good. They don't want that. They don't want no heat or air conditioner out the wild. What in the world? Thank you, sweetie. She don't stuck the water, stuck the money in a little. Or is it that much? You can just stick it in my pocket if you want to. We're blessed. We're blessed in the city. We're blessed in the field. We blessed when we come, when we go. We cast down every stronghold. Sickness and sorrow be defeated. For the devil is defeated. We are blessed in the city. We blessed in the field. That's a slave song. Why we in the field? When we go, we cast down every stronghold. Sickness and sorrow is defeated. For the devil is defeated. We are blessed, 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 blessed. I don't celebrate Christmas. I don't believe in Santa Claus. I keep the feast days, Pentecost, unleavened bread, trumpets, tabernacle, atonement. We are blessed, 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 blessed. We blessed, we blessed, we blessed, we blessed, we blessed. We are blessed. We blessed, we blessed, we blessed, we blessed, we blessed, we blessed, blessed, we blessed, we blessed, we blessed. Y'all like my singing? Sister Chantel said she liked my singing. Then you ever see that fat? Say some chocolate. Say some chocolate. That boy good, ain't he? He got talent. I want to say so Dwight could feel better. That's how Dwight sang on his best day. Y'all all right? Come on, let's get ready so we can get out here and eat. Fellowship. Thank the Lord.